Hello friends and welcome back. In this lecture we will talk about the while loop in Java. Here is our outline. First of all we will see what are loops used for, and then we will see the types of loops, and then we will talk in details about the while loop, and finally we will see what is an infinite loop. So let's get started. What are loops used for? Loops are used to execute a block of code more than once. So for example, suppose that we want to print the string hello 5 times. Then we can use the println method 5 times as you can see. But now suppose that you want to print it 1,000 times or 100 times. Then we would have to write this statement 1,000 times. And this is very hard to do, right? So in this case, we will use a loop. So have a look over here. This code over here prints the string hello 5 times. So this code and this code have the same effect. Now let me tell you what's happening over here. First of all, I'm saying while I is less than or equal to 5 and I is an integer which is equal to 1. So over here we are saying as long as I is less than or equal to 5, we want to print the string hello. So we're going to print hello. And after that, as you can see, we are incrementing I. So we are changing the value of I. So I is going to start at 1 and it will stop at 5. So this loop is going to be executed 5 times. So the string hello will be printed 5 times. And don't worry, in a little bit I will explain this code in details. But now just get the idea. Let me show you another example. Suppose that we want to print hello 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So look what we'll do. Basically we will do the same thing, and in the println method we're going to print hello concatenated with I. So the first time I will be equal to 1. So we're going to print hello 1. And after that we are going to increase I. So in the second time we're going to print hello 2. And then hello 3, hello 4 and hello 5. Now when I is equal to 5 we're going to increment it, right? So it will be equal to 6. So now 6 less than or equal to 5 is wrong. This condition is no longer true. So we will stop executing the loop. So as I said, just take that general idea. Now let's see the types of loops. We have what's called the while loop, the do while loop and the for loop. Now let me tell you this, we can achieve the same thing using whatever type. So later on you might find yourself using the while loop or the do while loop or the for loop. It doesn't matter. We can achieve the same result by using either one of these types. So don't confuse yourself. Use the type that you like, alright? Now in this video we will talk about the while loop, and in the coming videos we will talk about the do while loop and the for loop. So let's talk about the while loop. First of all, as we saw, we use the while keyword, and inside parentheses, just like an if statement, we will put a boolean expression or a condition. And after that we can have a statement or a group of statements. So we can put braces over here. So now what happens over here? The statement or the statements will keep executing as long as the boolean expression evaluates to true. And each time we execute the statement or the statements is called an iteration, alright? So each time the body or the block of code of the while loop is executed is called an iteration. Now let's have a closer look at the example that we saw before. First of all, we are defining an integer I which is equal to 1. And we are defining this integer in order to use it in the condition of the while loop. And after that, we are going to write the while keyword followed by parentheses and braces. And inside the parentheses, this is our condition. I should be less than or equal to 5. So we are using this variable over here in the condition of the while loop. So now when we are executing the while loop, we are going to test if this condition is true or false. In this case, as you can see, I is equal to 1. So 1 less than or equal to 5 is true, right? So we are going to execute the body of the while loop. And in this case, we are printing hello plus I. And after that, we are incrementing I. And as you can see, this affects the condition, because we are changing the value of I, and I is used in the condition of the while loop. So this statement over here is very important, as you will see in a little bit. So now let's see how this is executed exactly. First of all, I is equal to 1. So the condition is true because 1 is less than or equal to 5. So we are going to execute iteration 1. So we are going to print hello 1, and after that we are going to increment I. So now I is equal to 2. And as you can see, the body of the while loop ends over here. So what happens, we will go to the beginning and recheck the condition. So in this case, 2 is less than or equal to 5. This is true. So now we are going to re-execute the body of the while loop. So we are going to print hello 2, and after that we will increment I. So now I is equal to 3 and the body of the while loop ends over here. So we will do the same thing. We will go to the beginning and check the condition. So 3 less than or equal to 5, this is true. So we will print hello 3 and after that increment I. So now I is equal to 4, also the condition is true. So we will execute iteration 4 and after that I will be equal to 5. So the condition is true, so we'll execute iteration 5. So when we are executing iteration 5, we are going to print hello 5 and after that we will increment I. So at this point I will be equal to 6 and the body of the while loop ends over here. So now we will go to the beginning and we will check the condition. So 6 less than or equal to 5, this is false now, right? So when the condition is false, we will skip the body of the loop, just like we skip executing the if statement if the condition is false. So the body of the while loop in this case will not be executed and we will continue executing the code that is below the while loop, alright? In this case, we don't have anything over here. So you have to pay attention to the following. First of all, we are using a variable to control how many times we want to execute the body of the loop. In this case, we want to execute it 5 times because I is starting at 1 and it ends at 5. And each time we are increasing I by 1. So this loop will be executed 5 times, okay? The second thing you need to pay attention for is that after the loop finishes executing, I in this case is equal to 6, okay? So now you might be asking, what happens if we don't increment I over here? So now let's talk about infinite loops. It is called an infinite loop. So you can conclude that it is a loop that doesn't end. So for example, suppose we have the same code, but in this case we are not incrementing I. We are saying while I is less than or equal to 5, print hello plus I. And as you can see, this is the only statement inside the while loop. So in this case, the condition is always true because I is always equal to 1. So we will keep printing hello 1, hello 1, hello 1 infinitely. The loop will never stop. Let me show you another example. What if we say while true, print hello? So also this is an infinite loop. We will keep printing hello and our loop will never end. So in both cases, the condition is always true, so the loop will not stop. Now you might be asking, when do we use infinite loops? Later on, we're going to solve some exercises to make this idea clear. So don't worry about it. So this is it. And in the next video, we're going to practice using the while loop. Thanks for watching.